a question and answer message from special education. Hello and welcome to the 2020-21 school year. Some GPS academic coaches have put together some general information to assist you with tools and strategies on how best to support our students during this online time. We hope this information is useful to you as well as helpful.
How do you know if a student has a disability? A variety of students may be attending your campus for support. These students may be new to your campus and to you. Feeling overwhelmed and anxious from being in a new environment may be a common thread for all students and staff. In this setting, you're likely to encounter students with disabilities. You might not have the knowledge that they have a disability. Some disabilities are hidden, some are obvious, and sometimes parents or guardians may not choose to share that confidential information. The strategies that we're going to cover today will allow you to provide positive support for all students in your care.
How can I support the learning environment? Everyone's attention is impacted by their environment. This is especially true for students learning online. You can assist students by carefully observing them. This vigilant monitoring will allow you to observe challenges and make changes when needed. Distractions occur in all classrooms, but you will want to take note. If students are especially distracted, they may need environmental changes. If students are distracted by peers or movement nearby, they may need different seating arrangements. You may need to move them to a different area or have them face a different direction. If students are distracted by sounds in the setting, they may need headphones. This is an opportunity for you to develop creative solutions. Students struggle during instruction when they are hungry, tired, or just need a little movement. Offering a snack and movement breaks to students can improve their ability to engage in learning activities. One final thought. Many students do not actively seek assistance when needed. Offering help and support freely can ensure all students receive the helping hand they need.
How can I support academic instruction? One way to do this is to increase the level of support we are providing the student. This may look like checking in more frequently to see if they need assistance, providing visual support such as a picture or written prompt to remind them to raise their hand if they need help, or ensuring they understand the academic task that needs to be completed before moving on to assist another student. Often when I'm assisting students, I'll remind them how to get my attention by saying, "Remember, raise your hand if you need my help," and also reassuring them I'll be back by saying, "I'm going to check on how your friends are doing, and I'll be back in a few minutes to see all of your great work." Another strategy to support academic instruction involves time. You may notice the student needs more time to process the information being provided and then respond to it. They may need extended time to complete tasks or tests. Or if you notice the student is struggling with sitting for longer periods of time, they may need a more flexible schedule that breaks assignments into smaller chunks and allows for short movement breaks. Use of a timer can also be a great support to allow the student to know how long they must work before a break or preferred activity. An additional strategy is to support how instruction is delivered to the student. Reading aloud directions, text, or tests is one way staff can support academic instruction. Some of our students may also need visuals or picture cues for support, or they may need staff to model the activity or task that needs to be completed. Simply demonstrating how to complete a math problem may be all the help they need to activate prior learning. A final strategy to support academic instruction is adapting how the student can respond. This could include answering questions verbally instead of in writing, and having staff record the answers for the student, providing multiple choice options instead of open-ended questions, or even being able to point to or select answers instead of responding verbally. It will be important to follow up with your supervisor to let them know the student may need additional support to demonstrate their knowledge. How do I avoid challenging behavior? I think it's important to acknowledge that the current pandemic has potentially been traumatic for many of our students and families. They may arrive looking for the school structure, routine, attention, and connections they have missed since our brick and mortar school closures. One quote I like to remind myself of as I work with students is that we are 50% of every interaction with a child, so we have a lot of control over that interaction. Before we review the next few strategies, I'd like you to reflect on the typical use of adult attention in the school setting. Are staff using it to correct and reprimand, or to praise, encourage, and engage with students? One of the most effective strategies you can use is focusing on catching the student being good, and then reinforcing that good behavior with specific praise. This involves pointing out what you like about the student's behavior. For example, instead of saying good job, tell the student, good job cleaning up when I asked you to. Remember that most students love attention, so the more we provide it for good behavior, the more good behavior we will see. Another effective strategy is using positive language or instructions instead of negative ones. Avoid no, stop, don't as much as possible, and instead tell the student what behavior you would like to see them doing. This could sound like, use your walking feet instead of don't run, or show me your quiet voice instead of stop shouting. Remember, it's important to give praise at a high ratio, keep an even tone and volume, even during challenging behavior, and use positive language and instructions, even when redirecting. If you find yourself thinking that a student wants to be in control of a situation, a powerful prevention strategy to use is providing choices. This allows students to be part of the decision-making process and increases engagement while decreasing challenging behavior. It also prevents negotiation and decreases power struggles. Some examples of providing choices include choosing what materials to use, such as a marker or crayon, choosing between tasks, would you like to do this math worksheet or this one? Or choosing the order to complete tasks, would you like to do math or reading first? Some things to avoid when providing choices would be offering choices that are not available, not providing at least two options. For example, would you like to complete your work or go to the principal's office is really not a choice, or giving an empty threat, such as you can't leave today until your work is completed. Students will quickly determine if you are someone that will say what you mean and mean what you say. We want them to know that our words are important. Every time you think of calling a kid attention seeking this year, consider changing it to connection seeking and see how your perspective changes.
How do I use a simple reinforcement strategy? Many students require additional motivation to engage and participate in learning activities. Parents, teachers, and caregivers have been successfully using reinforcement strategies or token economies to improve behavior. When using a simple reinforcement strategy, it is important to follow a few simple steps. First, you will want to decide what behavior you want to change. Then give tokens for the desired behavior. Here is a simple example. If Johnny gets out of his seat all the time, I will want to give Johnny tokens when he stays in his seat. Next, you will want to decide what tokens you will use. Stickers, coins, marbles, or drawing a smiley face on paper are all tried and true methods. Once you have selected the token, it is time to think about what the student will earn for their reward. It is important to make sure the chosen reward is an item or activity that the child really wants. Behavior change is hard. Consider the individual. Just because Susie likes to play on the computer doesn't mean that Johnny will stay in his seat to earn time on the computer. Johnny may not even like the computer. The item the student earns must be of sufficient value in order for behavior change to occur. Now it's time to think about how many tokens they need to earn the reward. Start with a small number to build success. The moment has finally arrived to implement the system. Give tokens for the desired behavior and rewards when the student turns in the token. Finally, monitor the system. If the student is earning tokens all the time and the behavior has disappeared, yay! It might be time to increase the number of tokens needed to earn a reward. If the behavior is unchanged, the bar may be set too high, and we may need to decrease the number of tokens needed in order to earn that reward, or the reward may not be valuable enough. Tokens have been used successfully to change behavior for years and are a great tool to have in your toolkit.
What do I do with a challenging behavior? Here are some de-escalation strategies. Stay calm, even when you're not calm. Use a calm, monotone voice. Aggression leads to aggression. Even if the student is getting louder, keep your voice calm. Maintain professional behavior. Hide your frustrations. Recognize if you can't handle the situation and you need a break. Be proactive. Ask for help. Do not take insults or student behavior personally. If the student says something that hurts your feelings, like "you're stupid," for example, or a student hurts you in some way, most likely that student would have done that to whoever was working with them. It just happened to be you. But it's not personal, and it's not about you. Simplify your language when asking a student to do something. Less is better. Keep it simple, especially when a student is overwhelmed or escalating. Give choices when possible. An example, you have 2 tasks a student needs to finish. It doesn't matter the order or which one gets done first. Give the student the choice of which one they want to do first. Empower them. Avoid power struggles. Ignore behaviors that are not a problem. Pick and choose your battles, and do not force demands. Give a directive, like, "I want you to do this page." Don't end the sentence with "okay," because now you just made it a choice. And if the student refuses to work, give them a minute, walk away, come back, and try again.
When do I need additional support? There may be times when you're unsure how to proceed with supporting a student. Perhaps you have used strategies that worked in the past, but they may not be working that day for that student. If you see a student's behavior is starting to become unsafe, it's time to seek help. In the moment, do not try to handle challenging behavior alone. Seek assistance from a coworker or supervisor. In order to prevent reoccurring challenging behavior, staff may need to do 2 things. First, staff may need to implement strategies to prevent the behavior from occurring. These may include learning interventions, reinforcement systems, and environmental changes as previously reviewed. Second, staff may need to develop a plan on how to respond when behavior occurs in order to keep everyone safe. If you're feeling overwhelmed and need direction, seek help from a supervisor.
In conclusion, we gave you a lot of information. The key takeaways are: prepare yourself to support all types of students. Know the way to support and provide a positive learning environment for all students. Review how to support students who exhibit behaviors that impede learning. Prepare yourself with some simple reinforcement strategies we covered, as well as de-escalation strategies we provided. These will be useful tools for you to use. And be sure to know when to ask for additional help before the situation gets out of control. Please visit our Employee Information Hub in the Special Education website for additional resources. And finally, let's focus on our district's mission: connect, create, and care. Thank you for all you do for our GPS students. You are greatly appreciated.